So, The Last of Us, I believe, is over. And I heard that season 3 might be all about Abby or something like that. I'm not sure. We sort of talked about it in Project Agro. I don't really care about this show. Now, whether or not the show is doing well or has a lot of viewers, it doesn't really seem like it is, because overall, the consensus is that, especially even with normies, the fact that Joe is no longer a part of the show, no one actually really cares. It's officially your birthday. Yo, happy birthday, Jose Taco. Happy birthday, man. Happy birthday. All right, let's go check out this video from The Drinker. The Last of Us, an entirely predictable disaster.
And so, The Last of Us Season 2 stumbles and flops to its conclusion like a fat guy trying to pole vault in the middle of a storm of fan backlash, cratering audience scores, and viewing figures that HBO conveniently doesn't talk about anymore. In short, this season has been nothing short of a complete and total disaster. A boring, bleak, depressing, badly written slog of a show that actually strained the very limits of my endurance just to get to the ends. And I've watched The Acolyte.
We were on the brink of extinction!
The question is The Last of Us Season 2 better or The Acolyte? Which one is a better watch?
And the thing that's so sad about this whole thing is that this disaster was entirely predictable. In fact, I predicted it months before the season even started in this video right here. But man, even I couldn't have imagined just how bad it was gonna be, apart from a couple of half-decent action set pieces where all that HBO money was on full display, and a performance from Pedro Pascal who was clearly doing his best to carry the entire show on his back. Season 2 has been absolute trash from start to finish. Boring when it should have been compelling, laughable when it should have been poignant, frustrating when it should have been exciting, preachy, self-indulgent and pretentious. It's everything the game was but dialed up to 11. And now that it's finally over and we've had the full Season 2 experience, I think now's as good a time as any to reflect on where exactly The Last of Us went wrong. So,
well, here's the thing. It went wrong in the video games already. Part 2 was such a controversial game that I would say it split the fans in half. There are people who will like Naughty Dog products no matter what. Last of Us is not, excluded from that, right? And then the other people who are like, whoa, I have to use Abby now, the person that actually got rid of Joel. Why the heck do I have to play as this unlikable, strong trans woman that says they're not trans, but is clearly trans, is because you look like Scott Steiner? It split the audience down in half is because you got rid of one of the most compelling characters in the game and replaced him with a girl that not a lot of people really like, because they like the dynamic between both the characters. And what makes matters worse is not that you got rid of Joel early in the game. It's how it happened and what Naughty Dog said about it afterwards. From going copyright striking a bunch of YouTubers, getting people banned off of Twitter. It's the aftermath of how you guys handled it is what makes matters worse. So with that, a lot of people already had a bad taste in their mouth. Of course, if what happened in the games happened in the show, people are going to be divided. But the game had a good-looking Ellie. Ellie was an appealing character. She wasn't ugly, okay? She wasn't she did not look retarded. She did not look like she had what's it called again? The fetal alcohol, whatever, baby syndrome or whatever. She does not look like she has Down syndrome. Nothing against Bella Ramsey, but she is not really a great actor and a good fit for Ellie in this role. And what makes matters worse, that one episode where she tried to fight that guy's 225 pounds versus Ellie, who made him tap out, who's probably 105 pounds, which is unbelievable. And you're basically giving up Joel, and now you're following two girls. One of them is decent looking, and a girl that looks like she got hit by a freight train. No one's gonna really like that. Okay? You had the perfect Ellie. The girl who's playing Abby is a very, very good Ellie. But why did you go with Bella Ramsey? Maybe Neil Druckmann liked retarded looking characters. I don't know. Look, I'm very mean. I'm a mean person. Okay? I played Last of Us Part 1 Remastered. That game was great. I really enjoyed it. The chemistry and stuff like that. Knowing that Ellie is a lesbian didn't really bother me. I'm like, okay, it's fine, whatever's. But Bella Ramsey is one of the most probably like miscast. Like I would say she's probably the worst miscast. Okay? The worst miscast, I would say almost all time. I can comfortably say that. But I'm not tied into like part 2. I didn't play part 2. But I've seen most or all of the cutscenes for part 2. It's bad. It's really bad. Sydney Sweeney would have been a very, very compelling Ellie though. Seeing her running around with her giant titties flopping, knocking the zombies away would have been amazing.
Oh, grab your potato masher and let's explore the top 5 reasons this show went off the rails. Problem number 1, Joel. It's no secret that killing off Joel in the first few hours of the game has gone down in history as one of the worst narrative decisions that anyone's ever made, ever.
That one's pretty bad too. That one was pretty bad.
Well, I said one of the worst. And you'd think that 5 years of fan backlash, alternative suggestions, and endless video essays would have convinced Neil Druckmann to do something a bit different this time around. But nope, there it is, almost beat for beat exactly like in the game, at the same exact point in the narrative. And as it turns out, it was just as unpopular now as it was 5 years ago.
Yep.
Not only did killing off the protagonist of the first season in such a pointless, brutal manner leave a sour taste in people's mouths, but it also left a gaping hole in the show that no other character could possibly fill. The relationship between Joel and Ellie was the beating heart of both the game and the show, and without it, The Last of Us lost that vital element that kept people engaged.
Yep. Not like I said, not just in the show, in the game too. And that's the reason why if you remove the daughter father bond in the game and it didn't work and a lot of people did not like it, what makes you think it's going to work in the TV show? And Neil Druckmann think he's like a masterclass writer. It's like, nah, bro, read the room. If it didn't work out in the game, why would you do it exactly? Literally, like at the second episode, you kill off Joel. Why? What you could have done is kill him off like episode 7. You could have dragged it out just a little bit so people get a little bit more Pedro Pascal. But nope. You got rid of him. And there's like one entire like flashback with Joel, and that's about it. No one really cares. It's the first game isn't that good either. At least the first game was competently written compared to what I've seen from part 2.
It's humanity. And there's really no getting around this. Pedro Pascal was by far the best thing about The Last of Us. Gay! Yeah, he's arguably overhyped and overexposed as an actor, and I'm still not convinced he was the best man for the job. But one thing I can't deny is that the guy can fucking act. Pascal brought some much needed authority, gravitas, and believability to the show, and with him out of the picture, it was up to problem number 2 to carry this show. Which brings me neatly along to problem number 2.
Yep.
Ellie. There are certain unavoidable truths that have to be reconciled in life, dear viewer. 1. True happiness is something that you only recognize once it's gone. 2. Aerith is objectively the better girl.
No. Aerith is not objectively the better girl. Drinker, if you want, I will have a one-on-one debate with you why Aerith is not the better girl and Tifa is number one. Not just because of Tifa's massive boobs, just based off of character writing, I will let you know why Tifa is number one. Drinker, you want to have a sit down with me? We can debate this like real gentlemen. Well, actually, I'm a a gay boy, but a gay boy versus a real gentleman of class. I will, if you guys can get a hold of Drinker for me, I will have a sit down one-on-one debate on why Tifa is better than Aerith. Okay? Why Tifa is, now we're just talking about character and not character assets, okay? Tifa is the better one in terms of long-term. We're talking about a relationship for Cloud. Who is better for Cloud, okay? Now, if we're talking about who saves the day at the end, Aerith's death is mandatory. In order for a Meteor to be saved, in order for Meteor not to kill, the Final Fantasy universe, right? In order for Meteor not to come down, completely freaking destroy the Earth, Aerith needs to die. It's a fixed point in time. She needs to die. Because if Aerith does not die, Holy does not come out and stop the Meteor. But if we're talking about who is objectively who's the better girl, is hands down Tifa. Okay? Chat, like I said, if you can get a hold of Drinker for me, I will do a full-on debate on why Aerith is not the better girl.
Girlfriend for Cloud in Final Fantasy VII.
Oh, better girlfriend. Okay, yeah, then it's definitely not Aerith. Okay? Definitely not Aerith, and it's Tifa. Okay?
And 3, Bella Ramsey was the wrong.
Can you not like both? First, you can like both girls. Just which one is better?
Shit all over her appearance or hate on her.
Just which one is better?
Because that's pretty unfair and mean-spirited. She's just an actor doing a job, and believe it or not, she actually comes across as pretty likable and down to earth in interviews. But the harsh reality is that not every actor can play every role. They have to physically embody the character they're playing, and if they can't do that, they at least have to capture the essence of that character's personality. Clearly, Ramsey doesn't look anything like Ellie, so the first option's right out the window, but she also doesn't have the acting range to embody Ellie either. Her performance ranges from so wooden you could build a log cabin out of it, to so over the top that it makes Nick Cage look like Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah, Ellie's character in part one, she comes off as annoying, but like you understand her because she's a kid. And it sort of comes off as endearing later on, right? The more you play the game. I didn't get any of that from Bella Ramsey for season 1.
None of it feels believable. She's laughable when she's trying to be intimidating, obnoxious when she's trying to be likable, and weirdly disconnected when she's trying to be tender and vulnerable. Much as I dislike the game, one thing I can't deny is that Ashley Johnson fucking crushes it as Ellie, and comparing some of their most iconic scenes, you can't help but notice the massive gulf of talent between her and Ramsey. It's a lethal combination that absolutely kills your investment in the character, and it doesn't help that she's been written as a completely different person from the game. Game Ellie was a broken woman for most of part 2, completely consumed with revenge to the point where it takes a visible toll on her mind and body. Yeah, it was depressing, but it at least made sense, and it perfectly fit with the theme of revenge ultimately costing both parties everything. TV show Ellie is completely different though. You can practically feel the insecurities of the writers shining through, where they try so hard to make her tough and resilient, where she used
I remember, I think the showrunners told the actors not to play the game and basically like go off of whatever they think that character is. And I do know that Bella Ramsey secretly played the first game. I'm not sure if she played the second game. If that's the case, then it totally like goes with like why she's such a terrible cast for this character. Now, why the hell not play the game? Why didn't you allow the people to play the game? It's because if that's the case, like what they did with the game, at least Ellie is likable in the game. You could have behaved more like her from the video game. But according to what I know from a lot of people that I know who are actors or people who are like high profile in like their life or whatever, they are extremely narcissistic. 100% extremely narcissist. And they think that they can do better than what came before. And here's the thing. This sort of happened with Lilo and Stitch live action too. I was watching the film thread thing of the interview, and that little girl basically said that this movie, the live action movie, is better than the animated movie. It's this like narcissistic complex they have like in their brain, thinking that they're better than what came before, which is like it's a quality that a lot of people hate.
Used to be open and trusting, and instead of being strong and determined, she just comes across as prickly, arrogant, and aggressive. Her relationship with Dina has gone from teetering on the brink of collapse to some idyllic teen romance where they're cracking jokes, smiling, laughing, and fucking like they don't have a care in the world. They never really argue or fall out, they see everything pretty much the same way, and they're both so frustratingly agreeable that you have to wonder why Dina even exists. It makes zero fucking sense, and it leaves you
Well, at least Dina is better looking. There's that.
with this horrible nagging feeling that Joel's death really didn't make much of an impression on Ellie at all. Problem number 3, the pacing. The pacing of Last of Us Season 2 is absolutely abysmal. In the games, this was less of a problem because the player was in control most of the time and cutscenes only came up occasionally to move the story along. Here though, that's literally all we've got, and it doesn't take you long to realise that there really isn't much of a story to tell here, and so a good chunk of the season is just time-wasting, busy work bullshit. How many times do we have to watch Ellie and Dina wandering through a forest or a deserted city, swapping shit jokes and pointless banter that tells us nothing about them, or moves the plot forward, or builds up the worlds?
All can be forgiven if I can see Dina's boobs. I don't need to see Bella Ramsey's like manlit titties. Show me some of Dina's butt cheeks, and maybe a little bit of side boob, maybe more skin. I think it'll be fine. Come on, we got that with The Walking Dead. Okay, we got to see Maggie's side boob and her butt. You got to see some the Hispanic chick's butt or something like that. Give us a little bit, and all will be forgiven. Not all, just a little bit will be forgiven. Isn't Dina a kid? No, they're adults here.
How many tedious sex scenes did they have to cram in that feel completely out of step with two people in a tense survival situation where death can come at any moment? Yeah, there's nothing like
this is
being
5 years
freezing
later
wet and cold and surrounded by zombie
Maggie
fungus
was so
monsters
hot.
to get you in the
Maggie was insanely hot. Maggie's insanely hot.
moods. There were whole episodes where nothing of any significance happens, and I was bored out of my mind, and it all feels
Can
like
confirm
such a waste
Dina's
of
butt is nice.
potential.
There it
It's
is.
the hallmark of
Wasted
self-indulgent
opportunity.
hubris on the part of the showrunners, the belief that they're producing such artistic perfection that the audience will just luxuriate in every second of it. It's a show about mushroom zombies, mate. Get a fucking grip. Problem 4, the writing. Everyone in this show is a fucking idiot. From Ellie and Dina just casually riding down the middle of a city street that could be crawling with enemy troops, to the wolf leaders who decide to
Another
occupy
Asian
a hospital that's infected with airborne virus spores that could infect them at any moment, to Joel and his complete refusal to stand up for himself or explain his past actions, to Abby walking off and leaving someone who's clearly gonna come after her for revenge later. Nobody's actions make any fucking sense. It's all just done in service of the plot. And that's not even counting the dialogue that's so cringe-inducing it feels like even an AI would refuse to spit it out.
I'm gonna be a dad.
I remember I told my wife that, and she was like, huh? What? Why? Huh? But she's not a man. And she doesn't identify as a man. So how is she going to be a dad? Is there hormone replacement therapy in the post-apocalyptic world of Last of Us? Are there transgenders in Last of Us? Given the fact that all the doctors are all gone and all the hormone replacement therapy stuff is all gone, how is she going to be like she's like trying to understand this, and it doesn't make sense. It's retarded. No, I pressed the wrong button. Wait, right here. There. Maybe. There it is. Okay, we're back.
Yeah.
Come on, guys, that couldn't have even sounded good in your heads. Problem 5. The message.
Brittany Griner? So here's the thing. If Brittany Griner was a legit female, okay, I saw Brittany Griner topless on X, and it wasn't censored at all. And if Brittany Griner was a girl, why didn't they censor it? Because Brittany Griner is a man. That's why.
Yeah, you probably knew this bit was coming, and for good fucking reason. The game was notorious enough for being aggressively pro-current thing, but the show takes it to such a ludicrous degree that it actually becomes laughable. The whole £100 actress beating up a bunch of accommodating stuntmen routine has been done so many times that I'd become kind of numb to it by this point. But then we're treated to the insane sight of Bella Ramsey, who looks like a small child at the best of times, literally overpowering a man who's at least twice her size and
yeah, that guy is like 125 pounds. I mean, I'm 225 pounds. That guy is huge. Ain't no way you can get him to tap out by grabbing his thumb. Ain't no way. Ain't no way I'd be losing to a girl that's 100 pounds. Like, that guy's probably like 6'1", 6'2", 200 something pounds. He looks muscular. Like, I actually saw this entire, like, fight. The fact that she got him to tap out is insane. The fact that Jey Uso got Gunther to tap out was insane. Ain't no way this is real. Oh, this is just a TV show. It's fantasy. No, it's retarded. That's what it is.
Many times
he lost in a thumb war.
Who the fuck do you think is gonna buy something like this? Like,
idiots.
Seriously, guys, did your fight choreographer not put up his hand at some point and say, I don't think this is working, I don't think people are gonna believe this. But the girl bossing doesn't end there, dear viewer. Not by a long way. I can pretty much guarantee that almost every position of command and authority is gonna be held by a woman in this show, and every military unit will be at least 50% female, because as we all know, putting women of childbearing age on the front line is definitely a smart move when the human race is teetering on the...
No wonder why everyone's dying. No sandwiches are being made. Oh my god, I fucking know it. Oh my. It makes so much sense now. They put all the women in leadership positions. Nobody is making the sandwiches. Well, you guys deserve it.
On the brink of extinction. And I'm not kidding, there's even a point where a heavily pregnant woman is somehow allowed to go out into hostile territory, like she's not going to be a complete liability to herself and everyone around her. Son of a... What the fuck is wrong with you? I mean, do you really think that anyone in their right mind believes this nonsense for 1 second? The inconvenient truth is that if The Last of Us actually happened for real, women would never be allowed anywhere near combat, or danger in general for that matter, because they're too valuable to risk losing. They wouldn't be allowed out on patrol, they wouldn't serve in military units, and they probably wouldn't be in positions of frontline command either. They would be at home, having babies and keeping things running behind
and making sandwiches. There's a reason why in Titanic they said women and children first. So all the boys can hang back and just chill while there's peace and quiet, all right? Oh shit, man. Oh, shit. Look, in all seriousness, women and children are vulnerable, more vulnerable than men are, and men are expendable. All right? Men are expendable. So us men, we're willing to go out in the blaze of glory to defend the stuff that we love. Why the hell would we let our loved ones go to the front lines? Just because you think you're better? No. How about you stay in the back, make sure all the shit's taken care of, and we guys can actually, like, who can actually lift like over 100 pounds, save people. Like, do you remember the whole fire here in Malibu and the Palisades area? One of the supervising or the vice like chief like fire department lady, who's like clearly a giant lesbo, he said that, how can you carry my husband out of a fire? And she responded with, if I need to carry your husband out of a fire, your husband is in the wrong place. Like, your husband basically done fucked up. All right, there's a reason why we don't like women in basically position of combat. We don't like that kind of shit. And plus, it's probably better for them to fucking cook sandwiches anyways.
The lines, while the men took all the risks and made most of the big decisions. Is it glamorous? No.
If I have to carry your husband out, he's in the wrong place. Yep.
Also no. But funnily enough, all that stuff tends to go out the window once people start dying and all the safeguards and comforts of modern society get stripped away.
Wait,
you really would be amazed how quick the safeguards and comforts of modern... All that stuff tends to go out the window once people start dying and all the safeguards and...
You're right. She does have a nice ass. Right, I'm looking at her waist to hip ratio. Yo, we got robbed, man. Yo, we got fucking robbed, bro. Look, I'm gonna paint in her butt. So this is her waist. I hate this show.
Comforts of modern society get stripped away. You really would be amazed how quickly the idea of girl bossing dies out when people have to take actual physical risks and put their lives on the line.
Just letting you know, if there's a hot mamacita, big booty Latina in a freaking post-apocalyptic, you know I'll be hoarding them freaking tamales, man. I've been hoarding them tortas, tamale, tacos, tamales, man. I'll be hoarding that, man. Oh man, she can fulfill all my wishes with her taco flavor kisses. Oh my god, bro. I'm not even sure if she's Mexican, but it don't matter. She's thick.
On the other hand, the male characters around them are usually portrayed as corrupt, bigoted or cowardly at worst, and at best benignly agreeable and progressive, always happy to take insults and disrespect without ever giving anything back, and defer to their betters because again, that's how guys like Neil Druckmann in their comfortable 21st century progressive bubble imagine that the world would look. And in a show that's so desperate to be taken seriously, it's amazing how much The Last of Us relies on cliched tropes that became outdated and laughable half a decade ago.
Yeah, they should update
it's a
it,
show
man.
born from bad source material, adapted into a preachy, self-indulgent mess by a man whose activism was always more important than storytelling, repeating the same mistakes he made with the game but still expecting a different result. The Last of Us Season 2 really was the most
What's going on,
predictable
Clay?
of disasters. They
Clay
knew what they
Ben
were heading
Treese
towards.
Jr.?
They had
What's happening?
every opportunity to change course and do things better this time, but instead they just ploughed on, too arrogant to listen and too zealous to change. Well, you really did get what you deserve, and The Last of Us deserved the failure it created for itself. I'm just fucking glad I don't have to watch any more of it for a couple of years.
Oh
Anyway,
man, there's season
that's
3.
all I've got for today. Go away now.
Season 3 is going to be all about Abby. Oh no. Oh no. But anyways, chat, there is the video. There it is. There's another banger from the drinker. There it is. Go ahead and give it a like. Go and give it a like if you like his stuff. Go ahead and subscribe to him. He clearly needs subscribers. Clearly needs his 2.3 million subscribers. He definitely needs more views, more subscribers, man. But anyways, shout out to the drinker. But yes, for if the drinker will like to have a sit down chat with me and debate who is the better girlfriend for Cloud, I will totally do it. It needs to be done. It needs to be done. But anyways, there's the video. Go ahead and give it a like. I love his videos, man. I love Drinker's videos.